Wake up everybody, let's elevate your mind. Live your life without limits, no more wasting time. Don't forget to stay focused while continuing to stay on the grind. Keep your vision real tight, then your future be bright until the finish line.
Good morning, Living Your Life Without Limits family. Thank you again for joining me. My name is Shannon, your resident host, and I am here in the lovely state of New York. And today our lesson is entitled, Stop Procrastinating and Let's Get It Done. Each and every one of us have been accused one time or another of being a procrastinator, whether it's been in our business, in our home life, goals set for ourselves, or even projects that we had to complete. So how does this happen? Most of all, what are we going to do to change it? There's actually science in our biology that talks about the limbic system within the brain that houses emotions that creates the time of procrastination. In other words, where things that we don't want to do or we have drudgery in doing, that part of the brain reacts to it. And that's kind of what slows us down. But that being said, it's time for us to stop and take action. So I wanted to run through a simple acronym to talk about procrastination and how we get out of it. So the first one is called acknowledge it, which is A, recognizing that you're procrastinating. And oftentimes procrastination is tied to our emotions, how we're feeling. And it's always not negative feelings. Sometimes our A personalities, I'm guilty of that at times. We want everything to be right. It just has to be right before I do it. Because one, we don't want to feel embarrassed. We don't want to be ashamed. So we delay doing things, tasks, projects, enhancements, whether it's something personal or whether it's business or professional, because we don't want rejection or we don't want to be disappointed. So it's not just negativity, but oftentimes procrastination is tied to negative impacts, anxiety, stress, insecurities, emotional overload. So it paralyzes us, so we don't do anything. So the first thing that we have to recognize when we feel overwhelmed or we're not doing something, that we need to call it what it is, acknowledge it. I'm procrastinating. And I'm procrastinating because of this emotion that I'm feeling, whether it's fear, whether it's anxiety, whether it's stress, or whether it's perfection. It's got to be right. It's not right yet. So you're going to keep holding it and keep holding it and keep holding it. So the second one is what I call in the C category, confronting it. You have to care enough about yourself, and I have to care enough about myself to confront the demons or the things that delay us, whether it's perfection or anxiety, drudgery, stress. We have to confront it. Doubt, insecurity. We have to care enough that we are going to confront it and say, I'm not going to let this stop me this time. For example, how many of you, if you think back, that it was something you said in 2019 that when 2020 came along, I'm going to do this. Now we're still in 2020, but have you started even planning towards that you set out? Whether it was something simple as enrolling in a program to perfect yourself, or having a more healthy way of living, or having more time for yourself, whatever it might be. Have you put it off and say, I'm going to do it? I'm going to do it. Or it's a business decision. I was talking to someone recently about taxes, and they've been saying, I'm going to get this done. They hadn't filed in a while, and I'm going to get this done. And they're procrastinating. Many of us have procrastinated on various things, but this is where you want to confront it and deal with it. Because if you don't confront it, you know what procrastination is? In my definition, it's a thief of time. Before you know it, a year has gone by, 2 years have gone by, 3 years have gone by, sometimes 10 years. And then what happens is procrastination goes into I can't, or I won't, or too much time. Time and chance meets each and every one of us. So it's important that we seize the moment. And procrastination can hinder you from reaching certain opportunities and being at the right place at the right time. And as I said, during this time of self-quarantine, where we have more time to think, it is so important that we take on these lessons and life skills that when we come out, we're prepared and we're geared and we're excited about going for our destiny and unleashing the innovation in us, the creativity, the drive. And procrastination is a dream killer. And so, family, I want us to confront it and deal with it. The last one is T, take action. Or I like to say, take charge. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. It's time to take action against that you've been procrastinating against. And only you know what you're procrastinating against. But each and every one of us have some areas that we've put a delay there. Or we said, I'm going to do it. This time I'm going to do it. This time I'm actually going to do it. And time has already gone into time. Can you believe we're already in April? It looked like we were just talking Happy New Year. It's already April. So it's no time to procrastinate, because once we come off of self-quarantine, the world will be moving, and the movers and the shakers and those that are taking action is going to win. It's going to. And I don't want nobody to be left behind. You have it in yourself to succeed. You have God-given talents and skill, tenacity, drive, and it's just time to unleash it. Don't let your self-doubt, your perfection, your fear, your anxiety, or the thoughts of what other people think about you get in your way. Release it and go forward. Lay aside everything that would hinder you during this time. You know what you're procrastinating on. You know what you've put behind. For whatever reason, you said, I'm not going to do it. I want you to go back, reclaim those goals and those dreams and those desires that you have set for yourself for this year, because it's your time to live your life without limits. It's all about you reaching your goals. This year, above everything, we have seen things to happen in the world that have shook this world. Who would have thought a pandemic at this time would have not only hit the America, but hit the world? And many loved ones' lives were lost, young and old. precious lives. God bless the families and the loved ones that are bearing that pain. But for us that are here, it is your time to take advantage of your God-given right with your health and strength in your body to seize your moment and do those things that's going to cause you to live a life full of peace, love, hope, and without limits. I'm reminded of a story in the Bible in John, the 5th chapter. And there was a man, I'm going to paraphrase it because I'm not preaching to you. I'm not a preacher, but I want to encourage you. He was sitting at the pool, and every year the angels would come around, and the Bible said that the water would be troubled. And anyone that had an illness or sickness would be able to go in this pool and become healed. And when the Lord saw this man, the Bible said he called it a case. He had been sitting at this pool for years, watching others get in and come out and be whole. And he wouldn't make a move. And when the Lord asked him, he had excuses why he couldn't do it. I'm actually going to read a few to you real quick. It said, for an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. And this is coming from John, the 5th chapter, the 4th verse. And whosoever then first after the troubling of the water stepped in was made whole for whatever disease he had had. And a certain man was there which had had an infirmity 38 years. Family, it may not be 38 years for you that you have waited and procrastinated on something. But whatever many years or many months, it is time. And what I'm trying to say to you, this is time not to procrastinate, but to take action and go forward. And here's what happened. When Jesus saw him lie and knew that he had now a long time in that case, he said unto him, will thou be made whole? This is what it's about. I want every YouTuber, every Living Your Life Without Limits family that subscribe and follow us to be made whole. The answer lies within you. You can do this. Greatness is within you. You don't have to continue to follow everyone else that's great and wonder and wish, when is it my time? Now is your time. And you know what Jesus did when he saw this man and he asked him that after he gave him a bunch of excuses of why he couldn't do it? He said one simple thing. Jesus said unto him, rise, take up thy bed and walk. And immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked. On that same day was the Sabbath. If you make up your mind today that I'm no longer going to be a procrastinator, I'm not going to let my emotional baggage, my emotional fears, anxiety, or even perfection hinder me from going forward and putting my plans into action. And guess what? Just get started. Take a step. And once you take one step, this man got up and walked and was made whole. Once you take that step that you're going to go forward and you continue, you're going to get stronger and become more motivated. And before you know it, you've accomplished that you've been sitting on and waiting on for a long time. I want you to be whole. When you come out of self-quarantine, I want you to be like a runner in a race, in a marathon. And when that gun goes off, you are hitting the ground and you are going. And you're going to come out victorious on the other side. Be encouraged, family. This is a time of self-reflection and preparation. And procrastination, remember, is a thief of time. And we have seen time is not promised to any of us. People were here yesterday that are gone today. People started the year with us that unfortunately fell demise to the COVID-19 virus. Make up in your mind while you have health and strength that you're going to live your life without limits. And you're going to take advantage of the time and prepare and plan. And you know what? When you come out, you're going to be so happy and excited. When you finish something, it's such a sign of relief. I remember when I first came out of nursing school many years ago, I graduated when I was 22 years old, and it was hard. It was hard. I was a single parent with 2 children and all that work and all that time. And I just was, sometimes you wanted to give up. Sometimes I felt, oh, can I make it? Studying and children and trying to survive. But in the end, I kept going. I kept going. And I was so grateful. And when I finished and I passed and I graduated, it was such an elation. And that's what I want for you during this year. Whatever you have been desiring and putting in a box on a shelf and saying, I'm going to do it, whether it's personal, professional, for your family, for your health, for your mental, spiritual, whatever it is, your relationships, do it. Take action. I hope this is resonating with you. My goal is to inform, educate, and impart hope and encouragement in you. And things that I bring to you, I share with myself and even with my own loved ones. We're in this fight together because I'm determined. Not only will I live my life without limits, but every one of you, all 2,000 plus of you that are subscribed to this channel, I want you to live your life without limits as well. Thank you once again for joining me for this episode. As you know, I'm in New York, lending a hand to the cause of my fellow healthcare nurses and healthcare workers here. I'm stationed at Long Island, and I tell you, I am proud to be here and join them in the fight. These beautiful people taking care of such sick loved ones. I've seen those come out and go home, and I've seen those unfortunately not make it, and those still fighting in the battle. So I continue to pray for my fellow healthcare workers and nurses, not only in New York, but all over the world, and the families. Many of them are in isolation. Let's continue to lift them up. And I try to tell them and encourage them that better days are ahead. Remember to love yourself, take care of yourself, because guess what, family? You're worth it. Thank you for joining me. See you next week, and God bless you all.
Thanks for joining us here at Living Your Life Without Limits with your host, Shannon Jackson. You always know she always brings you quality content all the time with each and every episode she creates, and that is just for you. You know, Shannon has done her part. Now's the time for you to do yours. You need to take action. Show her your love. Click on that subscribe button and get your content every single week. Quality content you can find nowhere else. Want more content on the go? No problem. Go to our website at livingyourlifewithoutlimits.com. We're also on the social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, LinkedIn, iTunes, and Spotify. Thanks again for joining us today. Tune in next time for another episode of Living Your Life Without Limits and subscribe today.